Thank you for joining me for another Infinite Woman interview. I'm Tana Marshall, and today we're talking to Michele LaRocque, the movement motivator. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Michele likes to think of herself as a motivator of movement, helping others discover the fun in fitness, whether it's moving to music or moving outdoors with Mother Nature. She has a passion for everything fitness and loves sharing this joy with others so they can feel it too. She's also a fitness professional on a local Sacramento news show and a fitness model on a San Diego morning news segment. Michele believes that any way to get people moving is a good thing because movement is life, both physically and mentally. Welcome, Michele. I'm so
Ah,
happy to have you here.
thank you. Thank you so much. It's an honor. What an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. I've been trying to get you here for a while, so I'm so glad that you're here. So I love watching you dance and move. Your passion and joy for movement definitely comes through in everything you do. So tell me, how old were you when you first discovered your love for movement to music?
Well, I was 5 years old. My mom put me in a dance class, and I fell in love with how it felt to just move to music. I was so shy, like so shy that I would talk out of the side of my mouth. Like, let me see if you can, I can show you. I would talk like this outside my mouth. And I, so, put me in a room on the floor with music and movement. I felt like I could be maybe something else, someone else, or just I felt, like could come out of my shell. Yeah, it just continued from there. There was no stopping me at that point.
I love it. And tell me some of your childhood memories in addition to that about music and movement.
Well, I continued. I just fell in love, of course, with the whole movement, moving to music and dance. I would like put my some music on in my bedroom growing up when I was in like elementary school. I believe we had a little record player at that time, little music. Maybe it was the radio and then record. I can't remember. That's just a whole other show. But I would choreograph dances to songs just on my own in my private room. And then there was a time where I was able to, where I actually volunteered to choreograph a dance for my younger brother who was entering a contest in middle school. And it was really at that moment where I really felt like the love for even like choreography was just the creativity of it was just so much fun, and that I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of brought that side out of me.
I'm gonna touch on your social media videos in a bit, but I know you're a great choreographer.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, that has just been a love of mine. It even fast forward even to high school. I was took dance production, but even further when I had kids. I was involved with, I choreographed a few musicals, high school musicals, just loved it. At that time, my daughter was in high school and involved, she was acting and uh, on stage and singing. So that was a super cool way to do something with her. And I really learned a lot about the arts at this time, just how important it is. And I'm a huge believer in the arts programs in schools.
Hmm.
And I have always said that I feel like they're equally as important as football and sports, but I actually think even more. And I've had kids open up to me about their experience in theater, and some of them have opened up and said that it has saved their life. It becomes a community, and there is such a feeling together, performing on stage where they get to be something else and just create and be free to express and feel wonderful and loved and part of something, part of a family.
Yeah.
It's really quite special. The arts is and then as a choreographer, I loved watching the dance come to life on stage.
Mm.
And I never missed a program that I choreographed. I like to go to all of them because every night is just a little bit different.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you're the one that created that, and there it is, materialized on stage. What
Yeah,
an
I miss those days.
inspiration. you must be to these kids and supporting them because yeah, it is the arts are incredibly important in helping people develop who they are and young people having a creative outlet. So that's great that you facilitated that in the schools. So let me ask you, when did you first start working in the fitness industry?
Well, that was, I would have to say, in my college days, the seed was planted. So I was on a couple dance teams, and it was during that time that I was wanting to do things to stay in shape. So I started to exercise on my own. I would go running on the track, and I'd make it maybe halfway around and go, ugh, I can't do this. I would, you go, there were these little trampolines that they had in the gym, and I would go because I'd go, okay, this is fun. I would jump on the trampoline, and I'd look at the clock and go, it's only been 4 minutes. Oh, So then I started playing music, my little cassette recorder in my apartment, getting roommates together, friends together, and lead them in exercises to music. Not only was it a way to be accountable, but it was super fun.
Hmm.
It was really fun. We were moving to music, we were exercising together. It was, like a community of other college students. And that's where my love for group exercise started. Then after college, when I went back to the Bay Area, I got my first job at a women's gym, and it was actually in sales. And at that time, they put me in the room with the secret glass where the big boss can look through and watch to see if you're, following the script. So when the potential member says this, you say that. And I remember talking to a couple, and they were telling me how it was just not going to be affordable. And instead of, I left script at that point. I was just like, I don't so understand. I'm so sorry, And I wanted to give them other ideas that they could do outside of the gym. But anyway, I didn't make it. They booted me out of there so fast out of that job. But from there, I was able to do what I really wanted to do as I was hired there, and that was to lead exercise classes. At the time, it was all high impact. Everything was just, 180 beats per minute, bring your knees up as high as you can. The energy was off the hook. It's just where I wanted to be. And that's where it took off. That's where the love and the passion for group exercise just took place.
Well, that it sounds like that is where you moved into thinking of yourself as the motivator of movement. Because I know that that's how you think of yourself, and this is obviously what you've been doing with people.
Someone had told me that I was a motivator of movement, and I wish I can remember who it was, but I just grabbed hold of that and thought, I love that because that pretty much explains it all. I do love moving. Personally, it has been a healer and something that is like within it. The outside is the perk. When we exercise, it's usually, oh, the outside. You know what? For me, it's like more, it's about what's on the inside. I love it so much, and I love to share that with other people. I love when people get that look in their eyes of, I love this, or the people that keep coming back to doing something for a class, and not just mine, but anything. I love to see people catch the fire of just movement and how it makes them feel. I do believe that, however, as a trainer, as a personal trainer and group exercise instructor, however we can get people to move is a good thing.
Oh, definitely, because some
Yeah,
people don't like traditional exercise, just like you didn't like running around the track. So you've got to find
right.
what works for you. So I know
Yeah.
you've taught a lot of different fitness classes in the past. So tell me some of the things that you've taught and what's your favorite to teach?
I've taught, well, as I mentioned, high impact when it all started, right? And then step aerobics was a huge favorite. I loved that because that was almost like dancing on stairs, which is another thing I love to do. But step was so much fun. That was a fun format to teach. Bosu, the slide came through, the just a lot of strength training classes, dance classes, but the real magic for me was in 2007. I was working at the YMCA in Oceanside, and the director came, approached me and said, there's this new format that is out, and we'd love to send, if you're interested, we'd love to send you to LA to, get certified. Is this something you'd be interested in? It's called Zumba.
Mm.
And it was a fusion of, different Latin style dances mixed with fitness. And it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds like was right up my alley. I was so excited. It was like, finally, something really, ah, exciting. So I did go, and I fell absolutely in love with it. And it's been really fun to see it just explode and continue to explode since then. It's been really fun to be a part of something like that and just watch it, grow. So I fell in love with it, and wherever I've taught, I've had opportunities to teach it at some special places, and just at gyms, and for private events. Everybody just falls in love with it. Everyone loves it, and it's the one exercise format where people you see smiles. And I remember Joan Rivers making a comment one time saying, she had said, or was quoted saying, the first time she sees a jogger running and smiling, she'll think about it. I thought,
That's so good. That's so true. Because when you think about people working out, it's usually like, oh, there's
yeah.
usually they're straining and they're, yeah, that's a big, big deal. And, you're always smiling. So that says a lot for Zumba. And it sounds like you were kind of on the ground floor of it. So that's amazing. I've never done it. I'm sure I'll do it with you one of these days, but I love watching you do it and leading people. I've seen you online. But I want to touch on something that you've said that I love. You have said that Mother Nature is the best gym and the membership is free. And one of my favorite things is the videos that you post of yourself dancing out in nature on Instagram. You're always outside dancing somewhere, and you've got great music and you've got great moves, and you look like you're having a great time, and you're always smiling. So do you do that every day, or is it just when, oh, I think I'll do a video right now? How do you end up doing all those videos? Because I love all of them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's funny. That to me is so much fun. Like that is like my recess in the day. If I'm going to do a fun dance reel, it is usually doing it outside is just, well, it's just like play. It is my adult recess. But what's funny along those lines, first of all, yes, it is free. Going outside in Mother Nature is free. You get the benefits not only of exercise and movement, but you have that fresh air and just, talk about a Zen moment, where you're getting all the benefits from inside out, just being out amongst the outside air and trees and ocean over here where I live. What I have done before, in fact, this is was a fun little test. It was a National Dance Day a few years back, and I called a friend of mine. I said, "Would you come? I want to just randomly dance. I want to just do a little random dance in, downtown in Carlsbad." And I just want to ask people off the streets. I just want to see if people would dance with me. But I had a little speaker. I wanted to have music playing and have them have something to dance to, of course. So I was floored at the response. There were younger people, more mature people. They were all ages. Every person I asked, maybe except for one, looked at me kind of funny, but everybody else was on board. They said, yes. I said, I just want it. We're going to start this music. My friend's going to tape us. I just want us to just dance, and you just be you. We're just going to walk and dance. And honestly, that was like the best day. That was so much fun. And it proved to me because that really there is a dancer in everyone.
Mhm.
Sometimes they just don't know it, right? Sometimes they just don't know it until they're asked by some weird old lady if will dance with her on the street.
I love where you're going. We're going to touch on that later too. But I'm not surprised, because if I had run into you and you would ask me, I would have danced with you as well. Because also you have this great energy too, and you're very inviting. But I know that you do a lot of dancing with our friend Jill, our amazing friend Jill. And I
Yes.
love when the two of you do your choreographed dances. And I actually got to film one of them at Disneyland last year. So I was honored to be the camera person. So do you break into dance wherever you go?
Um, no, I mean not everywhere I go, but I mean I would break into I'm not afraid to dance anywhere. I haven't tried dancing in Costco, but that's the perfect floor to dance. That's a perfect dance floor as long as it's not on a Saturday or a Sunday.
I expect to see a video of you dancing at Costco in the near future.
A lot of people's reaction, I actually like to dance with other people. I like to get, have someone else, but if dancing too, but if you start music, if you start a fun song anywhere, you're going to see this. You're going to see someone, nodding their head. I did walk across the street with a speaker dancing one time, just kind of moving. And there were people that were doing this. You just can't not
Yes.
dance.
The
It
music is
is.
contagious, and then seeing someone like you who's out there freely moving and expressing and enjoying it, that's contagious too. So you're contagious in a good way.
Ah,
Oh, speaking of which, how did COVID change what you do when everything closed down?
well, that was a shock for all of us, right? That was a tough one. That was tough. But the one thing I knew when I left the last place of business that had just shut their doors, that was Calavi Spa. They were the last place that said, "All right, we're closing up." I remember coming home, driving home, just going, "This is the weirdest thing. Oh my gosh." I walked in the door and I just remember walking into my house and thinking, "No way." Like, no absolute way. I refuse to not teach people fitness. If there is, and I remember thinking that if there is ever a time that we needed exercise, that we needed to keep on going and moving and doing good for our heart and our lungs and our body, it was then. It
Mhm.
was at that moment. So I had to, like others too, I had to do something. It's like I'm going to figure this out. I've got to figure something out, how to do something. So I am the most untechnical human being on the planet. And anyone who really knows me knows, if I have to do anything online or, sign in for anything, I mean, passwords, forget it. Everything requires passwords. But this was different. I was going to make this happen. So I just put a message out on Facebook at the time. I just put it out there and said, and I had a picture of myself behind my laptop. And I just made a comment about stay tuned. I'm hoping to figure this out and teach from home. Send me your email. If you're interested, I'll let you know, blah, 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 all the details. All of a sudden, my Facebook was just blowing up with, private messages and on my page, my phone, text messages, phone calls. It's like, oh my gosh, there were people, I have to say, this was really heartwarming too, and this just tells you the importance of it. There were people, friends of mine, who knew that I taught Zumba and exercise, but they had not gone to a gym or they were not exercising on a regular basis. But all of a sudden, it's like it just shows you the importance of it for everybody. So I had, which even the motivation of others reaching out to me, just desperate, saying yes, please, and then when when are you doing it? Is it start? When's it starting? That was just motivation for me to keep going and to keep moving and to get them moving. That was my goal. Oh, it gives me goosebumps because it was not an easy thing.
Mhm.
And it took a long time. It took a very long time to figure it out. I was a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress, but I was a work in progress getting that system up and to get the virtual classes going. It was a lot of cords, a lot of phone calls, a lot of failures, a lot of everything. A lot
Yeah.
of, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
And it was
But
so needed during that time because we didn't know how long we were going to be stuck at home and complacent and immobile. So the fact that you jumped on it right away, I'm sure benefited everybody that decided to jump on board with you and keep moving with you.
Well, and you know what? They say that were, grateful to me. They would express their gratitude towards me, but you know what? I would express my gratitude to them too, because you know what? I needed them as well. This is what I did for so long. This is what I've been doing for so long. And all of a sudden to just go, boom, you can't, you're not doing that anymore. No more exercise classes. Nope. Everything's shut down. I needed them as much as I guess they would needed me.
Yeah.
It was
And that
a, it,
connection,
it
you
was a,
all needed that connection. That's just as important as the movement as well. So it kept you connected, it kept them connected. I'm sure it kept a lot of people connected with each other through the classes. So you did a lot of good doing that.
Zumba was a great company to just go, okay, yes. Because before, when you're certified as a certified instructor, there's certain things like we didn't do this online. But Zumba was great. The instructors, there were instructors doing the same thing, trying to get their classes up and running. But I think what I ended up doing was with my fitness background and the group exercise classes I was teaching, other than Zumba, I think that kind of opened it up for to a variety of people to do, like some people like Zumba, some like the fitness classes, some like both. So I kind of in a variety that I could offer. I'm just like blown away that we're still going strong. There's a lot of people that have gone back to the gym since the world's opened back up, but there's a lot that have stayed on, and there's others that are still that do both. There's
Yeah.
people that are just busy and like to be able to just get it done, get her done,
Get her done. I
get her
know.
done.
Well, I've never been a gym person. I do all my workouts at home, so I can appreciate that. I've always done videos and now I do YouTube videos and all that kind of thing. So people who want a live class, but they want to do it from home, it's so great that you still offer that and that you're doing both in person and online. So it's great. So I
Yeah.
wanted to also ask you, you mentioned your kids, you're a mom. So did you teach exercise classes while you were pregnant?
Yes, through all three pregnancies, I taught until I couldn't teach anymore. And that was usually around the eighth month. I think one of them, it was just the beginning of the ninth. But I taught classes all the way through all three pregnancies.
That
And I remember a couple of times, more than a couple of times, driving to teach and just feeling like really nauseous. I had my little bag next to me going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This was, I'll never forget this. So when I would go in to teach, I would have that bag right at my side, even all the way in to the studio, get my music set, get out to teach. The music starts for that entire hour. My adrenaline kicks in. I was able to teach a class with me and my pregnant belly. I was able to teach it, no problem. I would get out to my car. It's almost like I'd pick up where I left off, like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, my stomach. But it stopped while I was teaching.
wow.
I'll tell you what, I'll never forget that because it was just right when the music started, right when the music stopped. So look at the power of music and moving.
Yeah. And you loved it. You loved it. So
Loved it.
yeah, that emotional thing has such a huge impact on your body. And that's a pretty powerful example of that. Well, looking back on your 40 plus year career in fitness, what are some of your favorite moments? Do you have one memory that really stands out in your career?
I have quite a few, but there's this one that I will never forget that is just like right here in my heart forever. I was asked to bring a circuit training class. This was going to be outdoors at the facility, and a circuit training class and a Zumba class to a recovery rehab center in Utah. He'd explained what we were doing for the stations. I began to time them doing a plank. And there was a woman, and she was in the plank position, full plank, heels back. And I could see that she was shaking and trembling, and sweat was just dripping like off her face. And she was just doing this. And I said, you can go down, take it down to your knees, and you modify, take it down to your knees if you like. And she did not. It was almost like that made her go, no, so determined. And I will never forget the look on her face when I said that. She was so determined and she did it. She held that plank for that whole entire minute. And that one touched my heart so deeply because she was fighting for her life for other reasons why she was there. And just something like as simple as an exercise, but not simple, maybe a hard exercise, but she was going to push through it
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. She was not going to modify. She was going to do it. And she did it. I just, the determination and the will and the drive that these participants actually had, that was a gift for me when I
Mm-hmm.
left. They, gave me a lot that day. I was so touched and so saw the joys and the healing of just exercise
Yeah. And I'm
and
sure that
saw that
helped in
in,
her recovery because that determination is representative of her determination to get clean and to stay sober. So I'm sure you helped her in so many more aspects of her life than just fitness.
I tell you what, I hope so. But, again, they helped me. She helped me at the same time. I left just going, I just love taking what I do and passing that on to other people and seeing other people catch the vision of what they can have too. And it really is, people don't have to join a gym. It doesn't have to cost, but just that movement factor, moving your body and getting your heart pumping, taking care of our only body that we have. Yeah, it's just a quite a gift. And when you see other people catch that, fire and good feeling and good vibes and good energy of exercise, it is quite something to see.
Yeah. Well, you're the motivator.
So,
And one thing I want to say, you look amazing. I mean, ever since
oh,
I first met you, you're incredible. You look amazing. You can tell that you feel good. And I know you don't mind sharing your age. I don't either. Some people are weird about it, but why is that important to you?
trying to figure out when became important to me, but I, because before it was like, oh, I think I remember even telling my daughter one time, okay, I'm never going to be all my birthdays, I'm just going to be 40, and then I don't know, something changed down the road because now I'm going to be 62 in a month. And I like people to know how old I am just because age is just a number.
Hmm.
It's just a number, and we should all be moving no matter what. No
Yeah.
matter what. No matter what our hair color says underneath the
Or we get it
oh,
colored so no one will know the difference anyway.
yes,
But I mean,
yes.
it's that internal thing too. It's how you feel inside
Oh,
and also what you choose to do with your body and how you live your life. It shows on the outside. So you look amazing and you're an inspiration that anybody can look great at any age. So thank you for being
well,
that
th
inspiration.
well, thank you. And the other thing I guess I could put along those lines too is I have an addiction. And I am addicted to feeling good. The more we exercise, the more we are consistent when we exercise, the better we feel.
Yeah.
And I think the people who exercise regularly, it really becomes hard to not exercise,
Mm-hmm.
when
Because
you're
you feel
used to
good.
doing it so much. So I do love feeling good. I honestly live each day, and this is absolute truth. I live each and every day so that I can feel my very best the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living today. Well, actually, let me put the word sleep in there too. I'm living my day today and putting stuff in my body so that I sleep good tonight and so that I wake up tomorrow and feel good all the next day. I don't want to miss the next day. So I do walk the talk and and when I travel, am shifted out, thrown out of my regular schedule, I actually come back home in better condition, better shape. When I travel, I do things, I just find my gym wherever I go. And it's usually outside somewhere. If there's a nearby park, you can always find something to do. You have to get creative. If someone's in a hotel, if you're in a hotel, this is what you do in a gym, or you can do these exercises in your room, or find stairs somewhere. So I do get very creative when I travel and come back in usually in better shape. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny? And so I feel like you don't really need a machine. You just need to be creative up here and find ways to move. Take your dog on 2 walks instead of one. I mean, there's just different things you can do, and you're going to feel so good. You're going to just feel it. And who doesn't want to feel good?
I know. Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, that, for years, my videos on my channel here were called Feel Good Fridays. So it's all about feeling good on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. But what you just said a minute ago, I think was so profound. And I thought, oh my God, that's such a great quote. And I'm trying to remember exactly what you said. You said, I want to do all these things and sleep well so I can enjoy tomorrow. Is that what you said? I want to so I can enjoy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
say,
So,
so I can have tomorrow,
yeah,
because tomorrow's never guaranteed. But if you live
right.
the way you do, you have a much better chance of tomorrow. So, and there's one more thing I want to touch on with you that we talked about when we were chatting the other day that I was so surprised to hear, but it made me so happy that you like to have a little treat every day, because I have a really big sugar addiction. And so I have to limit it to Fridays because I also love to bake. But you like to have a treat every once in a while, or pretty regularly, right?
I like to have a treat every day. Every day, girl. I eat really well. I eat clean. I love my protein, fiber, all that good stuff. But I have a sweet tooth as well, and I will not give up. I'm not going to give up what I love, but I'm really good about it too, as I'll know what my sweet is going to be. It's like, oh, I can't wait because I'm going to have that yummy treat or yummy cookie. This is a fun treat that I'll pass on. This is one of my favorites, is a graham cracker and the almond milk whipped cream. And then
Mm.
you put chocolate chips on top.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
I'm telling you what, it is the best s'more ever. It's a creamy, yummy s'more. It is so good.
Oh my God, I'm
Just
going to
yummy.
use that for one of my Friday treats. Thank you
It's
for the
so
idea.
delish. So yeah, I do love it. I do love treats. Yes.
I love it. I love that you love treats. So let me just ask you real quick, because I know you have women's retreats. So do you have any coming up?
Possibly September 2024. I fell in love with that, or saw the importance of that, the community and the socialization that we all so craved and loved. The women's retreats have been a place to just connect, and the feeling of empowerment and openness and just love in the room. So positive, just a positive, wonderful, beautiful place to be, and with other like-minded women,
Yeah.
I think is so needed.
Oh, absolutely. I'm all about that. So
Yeah, I know this is your thing.
I love that you do that. So what advice do you have for women who are not very active but would like to be?
I would say start today, start small, take baby steps, and create those habits. So and I had mentioned earlier, if you have a dog and you walk your dog maybe twice instead of once, find an accountability buddy, find a friend, a buddy that you can do things with. Maybe start walking together. And I know, I mean, uh, walking is amazing. Walking is great exercise. Just make sure that you've picked the pace up, that it's a brisk walk. You could also just and when I say start today, maybe turn 3 songs on. Songs are maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and just organically move to the music. 3 songs.
Mhm.
We all have what? We all have 3 songs worth of time to just dance to, right?
Yeah.
Just, and then see how you feel afterwards, after you've taken that walk, after you've danced to those 3 songs, after you've taken your dog out for 2 walks. Something, just start small and then put it on your calendar, write it down like it's a doctor's appointment. Put it down, write it and do it again. And then do it again. And if you miss one day, don't beat yourself up and throw in the towel. Pick up that towel because you're going to need it to wipe your brow and do it the next day.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I would say take baby steps. I think sometimes people get so overwhelmed at the big, huge picture, and then that's where frustration happens, or they go so hard that they can't move the next day. I feel
Yeah.
like baby steps and keeping it consistent is is key to making it a habit. That's you want to develop those habits
Yeah.
so that you keep doing it. You want to get to a point of when you miss a day, you really feel it, or and you don't like that feeling. You're not
Yeah.
going to like that feeling. So
Yeah, that's
that's the
perfect.
goal.
Very easy. Anybody can start there. So thank you for that advice. So tell me, where can people reach you to learn more about what you're doing and where you're teaching?
I have a website coming out soon. I'll give that to you, and I'm going to actually have that. I'm going to hopefully launch it. The goal is on my 62nd birthday, which is
This is when? When's
February,
your birthday?
February 20th. I'll be 62.
Hey,
Woohoo!
okay.
But until then, Instagram or my email, fitnessgirl, 80
Okay. And
at
I'm going to put your
gmail.com.
Instagram right here.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll have that and your email and your website, which is coming soon. We'll have all of that in the description below. We'll have all of those links. So, Michele, this has been so amazing talking to you. And thank you for being here and sharing all of this information and inspiring all of us to move more and all the benefits that we can get. You definitely are the motivator of movement. So, thank you so much. And I will be thinking of you every time I dance.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all you do for so many women, Tana. You are a gem, and we are all lucky to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Now let's glow. Let's glow.
Let's go. Yay. And everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us today. I will be back with more inspiring interviews with amazing women. So remember to subscribe here on YouTube. And if you'd like to join the community and get free resources to support your self-care, jump over to my website, tanamarshall.com, and take the self-care boundary quiz to find out how well you prioritize your well-being or not, and sign up to be notified about upcoming events and programs. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.